Hi, I'm here today again with Ryan. Welcome to our second session together. Ryan, how are you?
I'm all right. Thanks, Miss Carol.
Before we get started, I need you to look over these consent forms and just to sign that you
Mhm.
agree to, you know, that we go over this and that is confidential. What we're about to go over, is definitely confidential.
Thanks.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Now you can get yourself situated. Just make
Okay.
sure you're comfortable.
Thank you.
Okay. I remember last week, in your first session, we talked about how you were caught smoking outside of your school.
Yeah, I was caught smoking a joint. But in my defense, I don't ever bring weed onto the campus. I don't bring it to the chapel, and I don't provide other students with drugs.
Okay, that's great. That's good. Sounds like you have identified some um, rules or values about these drugs. You've also already begun to enact a change by setting limits around your drug use.
Well, I mean, I do respect the institutions of education and religion, and I would never want to influence a young person to use drugs.
Like your sister, for instance.
Yeah, well, Grandma Mozella was worried about my influence on Tanisha.
For school discipline, you were giving a detention,
Hmm.
okay, for 2 weeks.
That's right.
Was that easier than facing Grandma Luella?
Oh, yes. um, yeah, it was a lot easier to take detention than Grandma.
What was so hard about being confronted by your grandmother?
Well, she was concerned that I become a bad influence on Tanisha, which, I mean, it made me feel guilty, but even though I've never smoked weed in our house or in front of her, also I was embarrassed because I mean, Grandma Mosala basically accused me of having sex with Antoine while I was high, and that's just not true. I mean, I think she just thinks if you're doing drugs, you're having sex.
Hmm.
Um, I think what really pisses me off, though, is her whole thing about how I owe it to everyone else to provide them with a vicarious source of success, like simply because I've had opportunities educationally
Okay.
because I've always been a good student. And I don't deny, people have supported me, especially Grandma Marcella
Yeah,
and my
yeah,
mom.
yeah.
But in essence, it's like what she suggests is that I belong more to the community and their unfulfilled projected dreams than I do to my own dreams or myself.
So, Ryan, it sounds like you're experiencing a lot of ambience, both about your history of academic success and about your recreational drug use with Antoine.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're two sides of a coin.
Well, we've determined why Grandma Mozella thinks your drug use is a problem. Um, what things make you think that it might be a problem?
Well, I never really thought about weed being a sort of dangerous drug, and I do think it's pretty safe medically. I think it should be legal. I'd never been suspended or in trouble before, though. And I think, my God, what if it was the police that caught me smoking a joint? I could be going to prison. And that's just terrifying.
Yeah, yes. It sounds like you recognize that smoking weed carries a potentially hefty legal risk. Is that right?
Yes. Also, I did very poorly on my midterms in American literature and classical philosophy. I was just so high when I took them. And those are like my two favorite classes. Like, I
Yeah.
so should have been getting A's on these.
Hmm.
And I didn't. I bombed.
Okay. What do you think will happen if you don't make a change at this point in your life?
I don't know. I mean, Antoine enjoys us getting stoned together, and weed's always helped him with his music, and for me, it's definitely mellowed me out. But on the other hand, it's certainly not helping me academically, right?
Yeah, your grades are failing. So if it's helping Antoine, it can't. It's not helping you. Who's more important?
Wow. When you put it that way.
Right. So as you said, your grades have dropped significantly, and I can imagine that must be difficult for you.
It is because I mean, it's not about pride for me the way, Marcel is proud of me and I'm failing her if I don't do well. But for me, it's that getting straight A's has always been part of my identity. It's who I was. So it's it makes you feel a little insecure,
It sounds like you've identified another disadvantage to using drugs.
Okay, but excuse me. I'm not some kind of drug addict who needs to be rushed to a rehab before I overdose, okay?
Of course not. Of course not. You can decide to take this now, or you can wait until another time. And it doesn't have to mean going to rehab, okay? You get to determine what happens. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel.
Okay, I mean, I guess you're right. Maybe my junior year of high school isn't really the best time to be suddenly experimenting with illegal mind-altering substances. This is the year that counts. I need to be prepping for my SATs and applying to universities. And at the same time, the truth is, I'm a little worried what Anton's going to think if I stop smoking weed. I think he already feels threatened by the fact that I'm going to college or planning to. And I wouldn't want him to take it as a personal rejection if I stop smoking with him.
Okay. Oh, well, Ryan, okay. It looks like our time is up for today. It sounds like Antoine plays a pretty major role in your life, and I'd like to give you some homework of our own this week for session 3.
Okay.
What I would like is for you to engage in broach the subject of the potential change we've been discussing with Antoine. How would you address this potential fears?
I guess I just want to really reassure him that although I enjoy smoking pot with him, I enjoy him even without smoking pot, and I really need to contemplate a change in terms of not smoking pot because I have academic factors unique to my situation right now.
Okay. I'd like us to work together on what I call a decisional balance technique. What we can do is create a formal balance, sheet weighing the costs and benefits of smoking marijuana, and then those of behavior change. Okay. Then if you decide to move forward or further, we can spend our 4th and final sessions developing a change plan. How's that?
Sounds good. I'll see you next week. Thank you, Miss Carol.
Okay. All right.
I don't know how to stop the video. The video. Okay.
What happened?
I don't know.
To do that.
We don't know. Sure want Windows?